Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central CFL content for the fans, by the fans. We got another signing here. Edmonton Elks making another move as Brandon Barlow, number 4, the defensive lineman, 27 years old from Boston College, re-signs with the Elks, and they keep him around. There's no information out on his contract regarding salary. Besides, all we know is that this is a one-year deal. He'll be with the Elks through the 2026 season. In this past season, he played all 18 games, recorded 35 defensive tackles. That would be 5 previous his year that he had in Hamilton. And he got 2 sacks with that. That would be 3 previous that he had the year before that in Hamilton. However, he did get one. He did force 1 fumble and get 1 interception this year, which he had not done in Hamilton. His numbers have been generally okay. Kind of his defensive tackles, he's been very stable the past 3 years. And then in the sacks department, it's kind of been going a little bit downhill, but I think they're hoping that if they can kind of have a strong enough unit and he continues to get better as he gets a little bit older.
Interesting fact.
There could be some success there.
2025, he was at 160 hard money, 175 max. So I wonder if either he got around the same or if he got the same.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got basically the exact same amount of money.
Because I know Brinkman had the same contract. Robbie Smith is at 271 hard money.
Sorry, you're saying how much was Barlow at last year?
Barlow was at 160 hard money, 175 with incentives.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. If I was the Elks, I would offer him the exact same deal. Again, considering the numbers had been a slight decrease from the year prior, that's probably what I would have offered. And that's not bad money. That's not. I think it gives him the opportunity. I think he probably wants this to stay at a one-year deal. Gives him the opportunity to kind of prove himself, kind of bump those numbers up a little bit in this next season, and potentially get himself a bigger payday in a year's time. Who knows?
So hypothetically, if you say Jared Brinkman and Barlow are at the same contract, so say 160 apiece. You have Robbie Smith at 271, hard money. If Serezna gets roughly what he got last year, as an example, that was 235. You're almost paying $600,000 for your defensive line. Not as expensive as it was last year, but that's still a lot for those 4 people.
To be fair, $600,000 for a defensive line is pretty reasonable. Because here's my thing. Again, I truly believe that some of the most important aspects of the entire game of football is that battle in the trenches, is that O-line versus that D-line. It's not the it's not the flashiness of the passing game, of the running game, of all this and that. But the fact of the matter is that if you're playing against a team with an all-star quarterback, if he has no time to do anything because your D-line is that good, then the rest of it doesn't even matter. This is what Toronto realized, not this past season in which they missed the playoffs. In the last year that they had won the Grey Cup, that their D-line was just running over teams. It was one of those things where if you look at that championship game, despite Nick Arbuckle, firstly, I'll give credit to where credit's due. Nick Arbuckle did very, very well in that game. But I'm saying is that realistically, who's probably a more skilled quarterback, Zach Collaros or Nick Arbuckle? It's Collaros, no question. But here's the thing. Why was Toronto able to do the way they could? Because Collaros did not have the room. Because Toronto didn't give him the room. You know what I mean? That D-line was so ridiculously aggressive that it prevented Collaros from being the version of himself that he wanted to be. Like, that's the thing. With a strong defensive line, being able to throw an entire roster off their game is huge. And so for 600,000 out of a salary cap of like 6.1, to me that's a no-brainer. If they can deliver on that, you know what I mean? 600,000 for a D line that delivers, you know what I mean? I'm not thinking 600,000 for a D line that's going to sit there and do nothing. 600,000, if put well spent into a very strong defensive line, that's absolutely worth it if you ask me.
If I'm looking at a roster and building a roster from scratch, there's 3 spots that I'm paying up money for. There's the quarterback, who I'm paying money up for, defensive line, and what is it? And wide receiver.
Yeah, I understand that. Me personally,
not wide receiver, defensive line. So you got offensive line, quarterbacks, and defensive line.
Yeah. No, I personally, I'm a big believer in spending big on in the O and the D line, because again, I think a team does a lot better. Like I think a plus O line with a C plus quarterback is I think that's better than an A plus quarterback with a C plus O line. And so this move by the Edmonton Elks to secure a guy like Barlow down, not the most expensive D lineman you're going to get in the world, but that's fine. Not everyone has to be that. And even then, he's only 27 years old. There's a lot of time, and you know you can't. Another thing I will say, he's 6'4", 260 pounds. That's like, you can't teach size. You know what I mean? So if you take a big guy like that, oh yeah, you know, you're thinking of the Enzo cast. You can't teach that. No, but it's one of those things where he's a big guy. You know what I mean? And if you can teach a big guy how to use that weight, use that size to his advantage, it's invaluable in a sense. You know what I mean? It's a danger that you can't teach to a guy who's simply smaller. And so I think provided the right coaching in the right direction, you could get more out of Brandon Barlow than you have in prior years. Again, not to say that you haven't gotten anything out of him in prior years. You certainly have. Again, he even got, with that one interception he got this past year, that was his first career interception. Congratulations to him. I think there's opportunity to do even better than that and to go kind of above and beyond that. And I think the Edmonton Elks see that, which is why they made this move. So, yeah. Is there anything else you got, or?
Nope.
I think that's pretty much all I have. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video, share it around, and subscribe if you have not already. Also, make sure you guys join our Discord. Link in the description below to our Discord, where we discuss all things NHL, CFL, all sorts of other sports. So make sure you guys go there and keep the conversation going. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Peace, love, and positivity to all you wonderful people at home. We will see you guys next time.